So I gotta ask, why is no one talking about how effective weight averaging is for consistent fat loss? Because I searched the YouTube landscape and nothing. And let's not forget about all of the diet gurus who tell you if you need to lose weight, then shove your scale in the closet and forget about it. And if you're still tempted, well, you know what you gotta do. Because that random number that pops up every Monday morning, you know the one. That number that instantly induces tears, urging you to pull out every last hair because you can't understand how that went up a pound, especially since all you ate was chicken and cucumbers last week. But now you can't even do that since slashing calories in half seems to be doing the job for you. Well, before I got off on a tangent, those diet gurus tell you that number you dread every Monday morning doesn't really mean anything. So why even bother with the drama? But then there's other diet gurus who tell you, screw that woo-woo diet crap, because you actually need to weigh yourself every day if you want to see what's really going on. So who's right? Well, both of them. No wonder I am not losing any weight on my freaking diet. I can't even get a straight answer about weighing myself. I get it. The diet industry is based on conflicting rules that never seem to add up. But both gurus are right, and we'll get back to the reason for that in a minute. First, let's talk about what weight averaging even is. We all know that stepping on the scale is both the best and the worst part of your weight loss journey. Because even though you fearfully dread what that beast has to say on day one, think of the high you get a full week into your plan where you find yourself telling everyone you know about this magical diet that helped you lose 6 pounds in a week. But then week 2 rolls around and week 3, and before you know it, you're back to this. But when you decide to use a data-driven approach by incorporating weight averaging, well, now you get to go through the torture of stepping on the scale every single morning. Except for the first time ever, this time you have patience while the scale takes its sweet time moving down. Because after you get out of bed and hit the bathroom, your first daily habit is to strip down and step on the scale. Then you record the data point collected into a daily goal tracker and move on with your day. You don't get mad, don't get excited, you just log the data and move on, because now you understand that one number doesn't make or break your results. When you follow this daily process for at least 2 weeks before analyzing your results, that's called weight averaging. And having the patience to wait at least 2 weeks to analyze your results finally means that you're in this for the long haul instead of looking for another quick fix that won't work. So I'd argue that weight averaging is better than stepping on the scale for a weekly weigh-in, because using a weekly weight average is like having a crystal ball for your weight loss journey, because you can see the trends and patterns as they start to emerge. So even though this method takes more time and it definitely takes more patience, it's also a method that allows you to course correct based on trends that are specific to you. On the other hand, using a weekly weigh-in to assess your progress is like predicting your fat loss future with a magic 8-ball. Because sure, shaking that thing is fun when you get the answers that you want to hear, but that magic 8-ball is pretty useless when it pops up a random answer like, better not tell you now. And you get answers like that because even your magic 8-ball understands that weekly number that you see only tells you a fraction of your progress for the week, which isn't even worth knowing, because then this happens. But back to the reason both gurus are right when it comes to whether or not you should weigh yourself at all. The reason both gurus are right is because we're all different. So what works for me might make you want to cover your scale in dog poop and ship it to your ex-boyfriend. And if seeing the scale go up induces that kind of anger, then don't weigh yourself, because I'm pretty sure that's at least a misdemeanor, and you could even get a documentary made about you.
It's a joke, because I didn't think he was a complete psychopath.
Oh no, what did I just do? There are 2 types of people trying to lose weight. Those of us with a data mindset who patiently collect data about ourselves, sometimes waiting weeks to analyze it to figure it out if our plan is working, because we understand that the weight we piled on over the past decade won't come off in 2 weeks. And there are those of us with a drama mindset. Those of us who jump from diet to diet because when 2 weeks isn't enough to starve off 25 pounds, well, our diet-obsessed brains lead us to believe that nothing ever works, the too hard and we are destined to be fat. And I included myself in both examples because I've been part of both camps for longer than I'd like to admit. Well, mostly I don't want to admit to the drama camp, because that's the fat camp that led to decades of yo-yo dieting. Decades where I cycled through sizes faster than I could down an entire bag of Lay's after a few days of attempting an all chicken and veggie diet. If you're still in the drama mindset camp, don't feel bad, because at least 90% of dieters are right there with you. And that's why you regain everything you lose, often within months. These are the same people who join the latest diet cult that shames you if you dare track calories. Because all you gotta do is eat chicken for every meal if you wanna lose weight. Well, yeah, the chicken and veggie diet. That's what got me here. Who said anything about vegetables? That is exactly how you got fat. Well, no, chicken and veggies have nothing to do with getting fat, because protein and micronutrients are exactly what your body needs to shed fat. It's the only eating chicken and veggies that's the problem, because most people can't stick to that longer than a few days before ending up right back here. It's the I don't want to bother tracking because that takes too long mindset that keeps you stuck in this fat camp. It's the I don't want to wait 2 or 3 weeks to see if my weight is trending down, so I'll just base all of my efforts on a weekly number attitude that's keeping you stuck. Unfortunately, I know that mindset all too well, and I don't want that for you because it's the worst. But if there's hope for me, well, let's work on that hope for you. Because I quit that drama mindset a few years back and life has never been easier. If you want to quit your diet drama mindset for good, there's a few things you gotta do. First, you gotta quit relying on quick fix fat loss schemers who swear their diet holds all of the answers. Because can you really eat chicken for the rest of your life? If the answer is no, then don't even think about attempting that diet. If the answer is yes, then you might be Joey.
Stop eating my chicken.
But either way, one of the biggest lessons I learned after decades of struggling is you have to keep the same habits that you formed while losing weight if you actually want to keep it off. And that especially includes what you eat. You can't cut out everything you love just to drop a few and not expect everything you lose to not rapidly return as soon as you hit your goal and go back to your old habits. It doesn't work that way. That's why I put together a high protein meal plan, because these are the recipes I love whether I'm on a diet or not, which means I continue to eat these meals whether I want to lose weight or not. If my goal is fat loss, then I just cut 100 to 200 calories from each meal, and that's really all it takes. But to know that, you also gotta track, which yes, includes tracking food, and no, it doesn't take that long. Especially when you learn a few tricks from my fat loss course that helps you log each meal in under a minute. But since this video is about weight averaging for fat loss, you should also track that. Especially since stepping on the scale each morning helps me stay consistent with this kind of tracking. Because I don't want to see what happens when I say screw it and hit up every fast food stop I love that week. And I definitely didn't track because who wants to see those kind of numbers add up? Because I've seen those results and I don't like it. 2 pounds? Seriously? All I got was a 12-pack of nuggets and that was up 2 pounds? But yeah, since I've committed to stepping on the scale every single morning, I now understand that just one fast food meal out can lead to 2 pounds of water retention the next day. And I've also learned that it can take days for the water weight to come off, which means I'm not quite as tempted to eat out quite as often, because I don't want to feel like bashing my scale with my scorpion hammer the next day. And yes, scorpion hammers are a thing in Arizona. In fact, they're the thing that almost made me move back to Chicago 1 week after moving here, because I found one of those in my sink. That's the stuff that nightmares are made of. Something else I learned through daily weight averaging is that number you see every Monday, that's not accurate, because on Monday, maybe you gained a pound, but by Wednesday, your scale could be down 2 pounds. And on Friday, that might have gone back up 3 freaking pounds. But none of those numbers really matter, especially since you can gain up to 5% of your total weight in water in a single day, which means you can also lose that much, which is why you keto dieters need to settle down whenever you drop 10 pounds that first week, because it's not fat, which is something else you need to learn if you decide that daily weigh-ins are right for you. If you decide to come on over to the dark side with a data-driven fat loss approach, which is actually the light size because it's what works long term, you gotta quit squealing in delight every time you drop a pound. Because guess what happens every time you gain a pound?
All of this is coming out! Out! Out!
With a data-driven fat loss plan, you have to learn how to pull all of the emotion out of weight loss. Because the number you see on the scale, it's just data. It doesn't say anything about you, it's nothing to be overjoyed about, and it is nothing to rip your husband's head off over later that day. All that number is a data point you can plug into your goal tracking spreadsheet. And it helps you analyze your weight loss trend over the course of a few weeks or even a few months. And when you really learn to have patience with a consistent plan, you may even end up with a few years of data that you can look back on and be proud of. Because this time, you kept it all off. And it was easy. Plus, if you ever do fall off track, you don't gotta start from scratch with some new Hail Mary fat loss plan because you have actual data of what works for you and you can just go back to that. That's exactly how I lost close to 50 pounds after nothing else worked. But if you wanna see what else I do that 90% of people who don't keep off the weight don't do,
I step up to the mic, gonna make it swing. Feel the rhythm in your bones, let the music sing.